Okay, sure. Today we'll talk about, just give me a minute. Okay, so today we are going to talk about, we'll see how we can create our component responsive for the different screens like mobile, laptop, and the medium-sized device like tablets, iPad. Then we will see how we can create the modals in the Lightning Web Component. And then we will also see how we can work with the progress indicator in the Lightning Web Component. So if we talk about the components that we have developed so far, it's more like that was only looking good into the not mobile, into the desktop, okay, like this. But we are going to see how we are going to create a Lightning Web Component that will fit best for all the devices like desktop or mobile, or we'll say it could be tablet, it could be iPad, it could be any size of device, right? So to create the component that are responsive, that are like that can work best for any device, what we have to use is we have to use Lightning layout. This is again provided by standard by Salesforce. You could also use the CSS media queries, but Salesforce gives us the flexibility to use Lightning layout, and that is really easy and I'll say simple and easy to use. So every layout is going to have the layout item, and there we are going to define the size of our layout. So the maximum size is 12. You could have 12 or you could have less than that, but not more than that. Then you could tell the system that whenever our component is rendering on a small device, whenever its component is rendering on medium device, and whenever the component is rendering on a large device, what is the size that you wanted to display? What is the place that your component wanted to take for each layout item? So we have got 4 layout items. We will see what we are talking about that. So this is just a simple code that we have, and this is also, I think both are the simple code that we have here. Okay, so we've got different codes. We've got different codes for different here. This is just a we'll talk about we talked about the simple device sizes, and then these are the different code we have. One with 2 line items, and then one is again 2 line items. Okay, so if you see here lookup demo that we have got, these are the grid basically. You see here the layout item 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe whenever we are on the medium device size, we wanted to see grid 1, grid 2, and then grid 3, grid 4, grid 5, grid 6, like that. That means 2 items in a row, like 2 columns in a single row. And this is again on the mobile device. When we are displaying, we wanted to see each item in a single row. You might have seen this into the multiple places. Let's say if you open any website, even could be PantherSchools. That's my website. Let's see if that works. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is working or not because it's taking too much time, but yeah, it did work. So from mobile device, it looks like this. And then if we now keep doing this, maybe if we keep switching the, like if you keep changing the size of our icon, you could see here, right? Basically the things are getting changed here. Now I've got the things in a single like view, you see here clearly. But if I have this view in a bigger way, you will see that now the view is getting changed. So that is basically called as a responsive website, where you have got all the things as per the devices which you want. It could be mobile, it could be laptop, it could be tablet, it could be the bigger screen, like the screens. Okay, so how you develop, that's what we are going to see here is. So I'm quickly going to change the project. So first thing that we will do is we are going to create a component, and we can name it as anything, like it could be a count list, it could be any other component like contact list or something. So let's say create Lightning Web Component, and I'm going to say contact list. Oh, it's already there. So let me change another component. Maybe I'll say case list. So once we have got the component for the testing purpose, we'll expose it to the Lightning App Builder. And then in the HTML file, as usual, we are going to have the card. So the first thing that we have is we are done with that card and all those things. Next thing here, what we will do is, as we talked about, right? Let's say we wanted to display the cases. Whenever the case is getting displayed in the UI, we want 4 cases to be displayed in a single row. When the case is getting displayed into the medium-sized device like tablet or iPad, we wanted to display 2 cases, and then the same component is being rendered on the mobile. We wanted to display 1 case. Okay, so we will use Lightning layout. So there is LWC layout for the shortcut. So the very first thing that you have to use Lightning layout, this is the parent tag. Multiple rows is the inner tag, which says that, okay, you wanted to have the multiple rows. Okay. So that's what we have got here. So now just pay attention to these 3 tags. It says whenever, what is the small device size? It says 3, and medium device size, it says 6, and large device size, it says 3. So let's quickly first deploy this code, and then we will see what actually is happening, and then what changes we wanted to make. So we are quickly going to add our component into the home page. What I'll do is I'll basically change the layout of my home page. I want this way. The reason, because I want to have that component. I wanted to add that component here on the top. So our component is case list. We'll just do the drag and drop so that it can take the complete place, the whole page it can take up. That's why I changed the layout. Now, if you see here, you could see that we have got 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 layouts that we have. Now I'm going to basically take it in a different way. Now we have got these 4 layouts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what we have is we have for medium device size 6. So if we divide 12 from 6, we will see 2. That means we are going to get the 2 items whenever we are looking the same screen in the tablet or something. So we can go to inspect element, and then by default your screen is going to look like this. And then you can click on this icon which says mobile or tablet or something. Just click on that icon, and you would see here you can change the dimensions here. So let's say you wanted to go to iPad mini. So this is an iPad, and change the width from like percentage from whatever it is to 100. So you can see that now you are able to see the 2 items, 1 and 2 in a single row. When it comes to mobile, it says that we have got 12. So if we divide 12 from 3, we get 4. So if we change from, like, for any mobile like iPhone XE, and you change it to 100%. So we can see here that we are able to see the components here 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And if you want to see in the landscape mode, you can rotate it and you can see here the things are here like this. So basically it is showing the items, the 4 items in a row when we are in the landscape mode. For iPhone SE, you can change it to iPhone XR, and then you can also change the width from like 50% to 100%. You can change this. You can use the landscape mode to see how many rows you're getting. So you see here like this. So basically you will be able to see the outcome, and if you don't see, you could just use this way as well. This is also a way you could use for testing purpose. So as soon as your browser is going to come up with the screen that is a medium-sized device, you see two items are coming up. And when it comes to mobile, you could see 4 items are coming up. And the reason is there because in our code for mobile, we have says that the device item has 2, but we want only 1 item to display. In that case, we will make sure that we are saying for 12 for each item. Okay. So what will happen? It is going to, we have got 4 items. It's going to display 4 items in a row. And let's say if we have some other item, let's say it's 5. So the fifth item is going to display it into the second row, because all these 4 rows are going to take the size of 12, 3, 3, 3, and 3, and the other 3 is going to be in our next row. So if we now go ahead and then refresh this page, first of all, we will see that only one row should get display over here into the mobile. You could see here clearly because now we have made the change. And if you now see now medium device size, 2 items are coming up, and then fifth one is coming here. And similarly, if you now go to the bigger screen, you will see that 4 items coming in a single row. Fifth one is coming in a other row. So this is how, with the help of lightning layout, you could use, you could make your component responsive, working in a different devices. Now you could have this layout within the for loop itself. There is nothing that you cannot use. So if you have a list of records, for example, you have got list of cases, you could have that, you can have that lightning layout into the within the for each. So is it clear? Medium and large, no difference. There is a difference. Medium devices are like tablet or iPhone, iPad. Large devices are like your laptop or your bigger size screens.
So yeah, I mean, actually, like when you shrink, right? So if you give a small device size is 3, 6, 3, right? So then for like mobile, like basically what I understood is like it should show one row for each grid, right?
If
But
you
when
say
it's
you say small device has 3, that means it's going to display 4 rows, because if you divide the size, that is 12.
4 rows.
Like 4 items in a single row, not 4 rows, 4 items in a single row.
But like suppose if it but it is displaying right one row. Basically like one by one, right? Like grid 1, and then in the next line grid 2, grid 3, grid 4, right?
And that should happen based on this configuration.
No, but like suppose when we are keeping small devices 3 and large device also 3, then is it not like should behave same?
It will display the same items, yes.
Can you please do it one more time, because I didn't got that.
See, there would be cases when you have to test your component into the mobile itself. You cannot rely on the desktop testing, first of all.
Okay.
That is very important things that you need to keep in mind. So if you are testing it in the desktop, there are chances that the things are not coming working as expected. So you need to look into that. So this is the small large device size. We've got 4 rows, and then we've got, this is our medium device size. And then as soon as we go to mobile, you go to mobile, you see here there are 4 rows, 4 items in a single row. Then fifth one is in a different row. And that is what it is here. And
But
sometimes
in mobile it should have 3 only.
why
So
3?
you mean to say basically its total width is 12, and out of which it is we are dividing 3 for each grid, is it?
Yes, 3, 4 is great.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, if not, then we are going to talk about okay, we don't have any question. So we are going to talk about how we can create the modal in the Lightning Web component. Okay. So far, before the latest release, I think last 2 release, before before this release, there was no option to create the modal using the Lightning base component, but Salesforce has came up with a new concept of Lightning. Like these are the 3 new tags that Salesforce has, like Lightning modal header, Lightning modal body, and Lightning modal footer. So what we had earlier, we used to do is we basically get the SLDS from the SLDS, like we get the HTML code from the SLDS website. So if you go and if you say SLDS modal, it actually gives us the code that we can use as a modal, and based on the conditional statement using if else, we used to see the modal like this. Okay. But now what Salesforce has came up is they said, okay, instead of using SLDS, you could use the base components for creating the modal for any of your component. Okay. So this is the basically base tag where every modal is going to have a header. This is the header. Every modal is going to have the footer. This is the footer, and then the body. Okay. So these are the three tags that Salesforce has came up with: modal, header, body, and footer. Out of these three tags, the body is required, footer and header are optional. So if you don't want to put anything for the header and footer, you could only have the body, and that is also going to make your modal work. So this is the basic HTML file. Now, few things that we need to consider here is, and keep in our mind, is that this modal component, we have to create a separate. So for example, let me quickly get back to Salesforce and say if we are here in account and we click on new. So what happens? This basically comes up. This is a modal, right? This is nothing. It is a modal where it has some input for us to provide, and then we can have these buttons on the footer. So what is happening here is this is one complete component where we are displaying the list of accounts in the form of table. We have got some buttons, and then on a click of that button, our modal is coming, and this is a different component. So the same concept we need to apply here is we need to have a modal component created for each kind of items. For example, you have 10 different modals, so you need to create 10 different components for the modal. Okay, so how we will create is we are going to basically create a modal. Let's say I'm going to say create account modal. This is my component. And within this component, we are going to have a simple modal. So what is the tag? That is lightning modal header. Then we will just do the copy paste because there is just a matter of change. So it's going to be body. And that is the last one is going to be footer. Within footer, what we do is we used to have the buttons like save and cancel. So that's what we are going to have, like LWC colon button. And here we could say, let's say, for example, cancel for now. Okay. And then header is going to have a title. So if you see here, this is the title. So you can just give the title here. We can say, let's say, new account. And then body is going to contain your text. So for example, we're just going to have LWC input. And type is text. Standard name is name. And this is also name. Okay. Just a single input that we have. And let's deploy this. This is nothing happening. Now, this is our modal that we have created. We got some error in lightning. There is no markup called lightning modal header. So LIGSTNING. Okay, H is missing. So it should be lightning, and this also be lightning. So this is just one thing, one part of our modal component that we have created. Second thing that we need to do is to tell the system that this component is going to work as a modal. What we have to do is we have to get rid of this import statement. Okay. And we need to add a new import statement. We'll say import, and it's going to be lightning modal from, and there is a new library that we have called, that is lightning modal. And I'll also cross verify here, so I can show you here. So what you have to do is you have to import this lightning modal class from the lightning modal library, and instead of extending lightning element, you have to extend lightning modal. So it should not be like this, it should be here like this. So we've got lightning modal, and now we should not extend lightning element, we should extend lightning modal to tell that, okay, this component is going to work as a modal for us. Now this modal basically has a method called close, and that method actually used for closing the modal. Okay. LIGST NINCMODAL LIGST NING. Okay, sorry. So that was a typo mistake. Now it should work. You see here, right? Now let's say we have got this handle click. Let's define this handle click here. Event. It could be any name. Event.prevent default. So we've just created the modal component. Now we wanted to use this modal component. So when we wanted to close this modal, sorry, open this modal is, let's have a button here in our case list component. So we'll say LWC button, and we are going to say new account or create new account. This is the label of our button. And the name could be handle click. And we're also going to have a slot, and we will say actions. And within the JavaScript, we will define a method called handle click, and we'll say event.prevent default. Now on the click of this button, we wanted to open the modal. And which modal we wanted to open? We already know that we have a component called create account modal. And that JavaScript has enabled this component to be utilized as modal. So we are going to use this particular component as a modal. We're going to open this component whenever a user clicks on this create new account button. So what we have to do is, the very first thing we have to do is, from the component from where we wanted to open the modal, we have to import our component. So we can say, let's say create new modal from, and our component resides within C and the name of our component. So C is our library namespace, and the create account modal is the name of our component. Now on the click of this button, we wanted to open the modal here. So how we will open is, we will open, there is a method called open. So we'll say create modal.open. Okay. And this takes few parameters like the title of your modal. If you want, you could say title, and you can say my modal. Then description about your modal. You can say my first modal or something. So this is a simple description that describes for which purpose you are using your modal. And then you've got size. So size has three options: small, medium, or large. So based on your need, you could open the modal the way, like the size of modal you can choose, either you want small, you want medium, or you want large. Okay. So that's what we have. Now, if we get back to Salesforce and refresh this after modifying it, we would be able to see the button here. And if you click here, we could see that modal is coming with one input like name. There is a button called cancel. If you click, nothing is happening. But if you click on this close icon, the modal is getting closed because the icon is coming by default from Salesforce. Okay, so far it's clear. Okay. So next thing that you might be thinking, when we click on this cancel button on the modal, this should close. Okay, this should get closed. So what you have to do is, you need not to do nothing. Handle click is your cancel button. What you have to do is, you need to use this dot close. Okay, this is a close is a method, and it accepts a parameter, and that parameter can be of any type. So I'm just sending some value like cancel. I'm saying, okay, the modal is getting closed whenever someone is clicking on a cancel button. Now you can use this method, you can use this close method for some other event as well. Let's say you have got handle save. Okay, there is a method called handle save, and that is used for saving the record. And once the record is saved, you get the record ID. So you could say this dot close, and you could also even pass the object, right? You could pass the object, and you can say, let's say record ID and whatever the ID you wanted to pass here. So you can pass any parameter here for the close inside the close method. Now, as you're passing this parameter, so where definitely your parent component should receive, right? Whatever you are sending from your child component, your parent component should receive. So this open method is basically an async method. Okay, it is not a synchronous method. It is an async method. That means you click on this button and this method will call whenever the process is available. So what you have to do is you can use something called await. Await is a keyword, and this keyword only used within the async method. So our method now should be async. Now you got that there is no error. Now what you could do is, for whatever you're getting the response from this method as a callback, you can store in a variable called like const result, and whatever you are going to get in the result, you could just do the console.log and see what result you are getting. And based on the condition here, based on the outcome that you get, you could take the actions. Like if you get the record ID, you could redirect to the record ID, or if you get the cancel, you might don't want it to do anything, right? So now let's see here what's happening. We're going to open the inspect element as well to see that we are able to see something. Okay. So we've got this create new account, and if you click on here, you see here there is a name, and if you click on cancel, or before cancel, if you click on cancel, you see we got the cancel because this is what we are sending from our child component, that is our modal component. This is the one way that where you wanted to see that, okay, what is the data that our child component is sending. Now, there could be some requirement where you might wanted to pass some value from your parent component to the modal component. Maybe it could be record ID, it could be some record itself, it could be record list, something like that. Okay. So what we have here now, we wanted to pass the value from parent to child. So the method is same. What you have to do is you have to use API. Okay. And you can use something. Let's say we wanted to have content. So this is our content, and that you could use here. Maybe I'm going to just have a BR tag and say content. We created the API variable, and we are using that, we are displaying that into our modal component that says content. Okay. And we are also going to have a button here, and this time it's going to be okay. And we are going to bind this method, that is handle save, to show you that, okay, we are getting some information from the child component. Now to pass this pass the value to this API variable, that is content, what you have to do is, while you're creating your modal, while you're opening your modal, just have your variable here, and you can say am a value passed from the case list component. And deploy this. So now what's happening here, what is going to happen is the content value is going to be passed, and you will see that the content is getting populated into the UI of our modal component. You could see clearly here the value is getting passed. That means we are able to pass the value. Now we have got two buttons, handle and OK. And if you click on OK, you got the proxies getting printed. And that the reason is that because we know that event value is getting passed as part of proxy. So if you wanted to see what is getting printed, you could just say json.stringify and put it over here. Or maybe you could have a condition here where you will say if result is equal to cancel, do nothing else. I'd like do this, okay? Like do the console or whatever we have into the stringify. And that way you will be able to see what value it is sending back to the parent component from the modal component. Any questions so far? So if you click on cancel, or if you click on OK, you could see here, this is the value that you are sending from your modal component, and you are able to see it. Now in your modal component, you could even itself use what we talked about is lightning layout. Okay. So let's say that you wanted to have the input for creating the account object. Okay. So you could use lightning layout here. And for the medium device size, we only want one row to be displayed, like one record to be displayed in a single row. For medium device size, there should be 2 records, as well as for the large device size, there should be only 2 items in a single row. And within the items, we could have the LWC input, text, and the first one could be name. Okay. And then you could have, like we will definitely define multiple inputs just to see what's the outcome. Again, there is going to be text, and do we have phone? No. Phone. Now let's have a text area. That is going to say description. And then let's have one address field. Okay. We got it here. So we have got basically 4 fields for 4 different layout items, and we're just deploying it to see what happens whenever we are clicking on that button. Okay, so our changes are deployed now. Let's quickly refresh this. And if you click on create here, you could see like we are getting 2 fields in a single row. And if we now try to do it for the mobile, okay, you could see now we are able to see 1 row in a, like we only see single input into the 1 row. So that is how your layout item going to works for the input as well. And once you fill on these, you could have the validation, you could do click on OK, cancel, and everything, like anything you wanted to call the Apex class, you wanted to call the wire and all those things, you would be able to do all those. Okay. So that's the one thing for the modal. Next thing that we are going to talk about is the progress indicator in Lightning Elements. This is like helpful whenever you are trying to display, you are trying to have the information, like let's say you are trying to display the UI like the path. You could see here in the screen, right? You wanted to display some UI like path where you say, okay, I wanted to display some values like step 1, 2, 3, 4. There could be some progress indicator. You are working for a, let's say, insurance client, or let's say for a loan client or a banking client, where they want to have the step indicator where the user is while they are filling the form. Then you will be like you have to use this, and you also need to use this in your project as well. So that's why this is here, so that you don't get stuck anywhere. So we have got a lightning progress indicator as a parent tag, and within this tag we have got lightning progress step as the tab, where we could have multiple steps 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's what we have got as part of HTML step. So what we will do is, now let's say we are going to create, first we are going to create a new component that is going to be let's say loan status. I'm just putting a random name here, nothing else. And then here we wanted to display various steps, right? So let's quickly first go ahead and expose it to the Lightning App Builder. And into the HTML file, we could have a LWC card just for having the white background. And within the body, we wanted to display the steps. Let's say step 1, 2, 3. So what we have is we have got lightning progress indicator. Okay. This is what we have. I'll again cross check. Lightning progress indicator is the one. And then we have got lightning progress step, I believe. Okay, it is lightning progress step. Yes. And step is going to have label and value. So let's have label. We'll display label as step 1 and value as step 1. Okay, like this. And we are like this. We are going to have different progress steps, like 2 and 3. Here we are going to have 2 and 3. We just have 3 different steps. Let's go ahead and deploy this just to see what is coming our way. So we just need to now go, we don't need to go to inspect. We need to add that component into the home page. This is goes loan status. Okay. And you could see here, we got this, it is coming as we could see here, it is coming as a ring, right? Let's quickly get back to the home page, and here you will see it is coming as ring. Step 1, step 2, step 3. But what we need is, we need like something, this we talked about, this something path, right? So how we could display like that? So if you hover to the indicator, you would see there is something called type attribute, and valid values are base and path. So if you say type as base, okay, type as path, the UI is going to look like path. And let's now deploy this. And now if we refresh this, okay, you could see here, now it is coming as path. By default, it is saying that step 1 is selected and current step is this. Now, in some of the use cases, you might wanted to have this step 2 as selected or step 3 as selected, right? So how you could do is, there is something called current step, and you need to provide the value. So let's say we wanted to have step 2 as selected. So we will say current step is 2. Step 2 is selected. So once we do that, you will see that we are able to see step 2 as selected. You could see here, that means step 1 has been completed. The person is on the step 2. Okay. And if you select step 3, or let's say if we say here instead of step 2, if we say step 3, right? So what will happen? It will show that step 1 and step 2 has been completed and the person is at step number 3. That means the person is trying to complete some information or provide some information while he or she is on step number 3. You could see here, step number 3 is there. So that's basically how your indicator works, your progress indicator works. Now you could have the dynamic, let's say you might wanted to have the pick list values. So I'm going to have track options. And let's say we have got arrays, right? Let's say label, label is going to be there and the value is going to be there. Okay. And we are going to have multiple, let's say like 3 or 4 or 5. Okay. So I'm going to have education. I'm just trying to put some values here, education, banking, and then we've got technology. Okay, and then we have got apparel, And then we have got chemical. These are the industries that I have just added here. Okay. Now we want to take the values here and display these in the path. So what we will do is you could have this, let's say LWC for each, and options is our data. Okay. And within options, you just need to have one progress indicator here and say, as we are within the for each, we need to apply the key value. Okay. The key item here. So we'll say item dot value. That is going to be our key. And here for value, we will provide item dot value. And for label, we are going to provide item dot label. Okay. And we can get rid of the rest of other the progress steps that we have. This way, what you will see is you will see that you're able to see the items, you will be able to see the progress indicators dynamically coming up and based on or from your iterator that you have just prepared. You could see here education, banking, technology, apparel, and chemical. And then you could have maybe a variable here and you can say current step and just have whatever it is here, like education. Or instead of education, let's say technology. And then you could bind this current step dynamically here with the technology. Okay. And then also you definitely, when you click on this, you definitely wanted to know which step the user has clicked, because when user clicks on these steps, you wanted to render something which is there in below, right? Below in the UI. So you could have on click here. You can say on click, and let's say handle item click is the method we wanted to fire. And in the JavaScript, we'll have that method, let's say event. And what we will do is we'll say, let's say this dot current step equal to event dot current target dot value. So this way we will see, we will be able to know which particular item has been clicked on the UI. Okay. And we will be able to see the change whatever is happening. By default, it is technology. If I click on banking, you see here, it is now making banking as a current step. If I click on education, it's making education as current step. Similarly, apparel or chemical. So basically it is making the changes based on what we have. And you could also have the console.log to make sure that either your on click method is working or not, to see if that method is working at all or not. If on click doesn't work, then we might have to use some other event. So just make sure that you are having some console.logs to see whatever is happening there. Okay. So if you click on any of them, that's not working. You see here, it's not working at all. You're getting some error. So it should be, I believe, instead of on click, it should be on change. That is what it should. So on change should be there. Okay. And we can just refresh it. And we click, okay, this is a different one. We click on April. Okay, there is something it's not taking. This got refused to run. What we will do is we'll basically open this lightning progress indicator into the component, because we need to see which exactly the method is there. Documentation, it should be having or click. Okay, it is high. Okay, it is now not click, or maybe change. I think this does not have that. Okay, don't worry. I have that here. Definitely either it is on click or on change, but just to make sure that we are able to see it here. So it should be on change. Yeah, it is on change. Okay, it has got, okay, it could be, yeah. So let's basically have on change. Okay. And we are also going to have on click, because now I wanted to make sure that which one actually works. I have added 3. On select is there. So on select is also there. And then we have got one more method, that is on click. So using these 3 method, any definitely one of them is going to work. So let's deploy this now. Sometimes we really need to do hit and try, because this is not there in the Salesforce documentation. Okay, so where is that? Yeah, this one. Could be. Let's see if we go to April. Nothing is working. You talked about, okay, there is a typo. I'm sure it has event.current target. Okay. So current target, event.target, any of them is going to work. Thanks, Sima, for correcting me. Yeah, it's working basically. You could see here. Now it's working perfectly fine without any issues, and we are able to see that it is giving us whatever we are able to see. So that's basically how you would be able to take the current value from your path, and you would be able to easily use that and render whatever you wanted to render within your UI that you wanted to have. Okay, that was the part for the lightning progress indicator that we have. And now we have got assignment for the same. That is okay. So here is assignment that we have is assignment number 1 that you need to do is you need to create a lightning web component that will display the account information in the form of lightning card. Okay, and below are the info. Basically what you have to do is you need to create a lightning web component, query the account records, and display in the form of card. Now here are the 3 requirements you have to do. When your component renders on the UI, that is desktop, you need to display 3 records in a single row. If the same component renders in the medium-sized devices, then you need to display 2 records. And in the mobile, there should be only 1 record at a time. That's assignment number 1. Any questions on assignment number 1?
When you say like 3 records, so it should be like either of the fields, right? Or a complete record detail.
Either of the fields, you could say name, industry, or something.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what we have. And then anyone else has any questions? Okay, if not, then we have got assignment number 2. In the same component that you have just created, you need to enhance. And what you have to do the enhance is you need to have a new button called create new account into the top right of your component. When user clicks on a new account, it should display the modal to take the input from the user to create the record, like name, industry, rating, phone, and fax. And when the user clicks on save button and the record is saved, the modal, like the success notification should be there. The modal should be closed and it should pass the record ID to the parent component. That is what you have to do as part of assignment number 2. Any questions on this? Anyone? If not on this, any other questions that you have? Okay, I don't think we don't have any question.
Hello, sir.
Hello, yeah. Hey, hi, Shweta.
Hi. Actually, sir, I have created that LMS component, Lightning Message Channel. assignment, but that is not working and I'm not getting what is the error.
Okay, let's do one thing. Could you please share your screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Visible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first thing, let's look at your publisher component first.
Just a minute. I'm showing.
Okay.
Means code you are saying, sir?
Yeah, code.
Yes.
Okay, so where is your, okay, this is your
The
assignment, right?
assignment. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have list of records. When you click on handle click, so what this handle click does?
After I'm showing here. After clicking on that record in the publisher component, the details should be displayed. Means here if we click on this record, then here the details of this record should be displayed.
Yeah. So when you click on this right name of your lead, you are calling this handle record, right?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, handle click method.
Yes, sir. But here, no, sir. In this component, sorry, here, this record ID means why after inspecting, it is showing that record ID is undefined.
Okay. Yeah. Can you show me that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Click on any of them.
Here, record ID undefined.
Okay. So if you see here, the message that you're sending is you're sending record data and you're just sending value message from Lightning Web Component at the top, the below console that you have. So can we see how you're sending the value?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So not this one. Can we go to from the component where you are publishing the lead list JavaScript?
Yes, sir. Here.
Yeah. So you see here, okay, you are sending message, you're sending a record ID. It says event dot target dot dataset dot value. Okay. What is there in the HTML file? You've got just see data dot value. You see here, it should be a small v. Go to JavaScript.
Wait.
No worries. Yeah. So you see, you have used capital V for value. It should be small v in the line number 24. Right. So whenever we are using just a single variable after data hyphen, it should be as it is whatever you have used in the Java in the UI in the HTML. But if you have, let's say, something like data hyphen record hyphen ID, then you will use record ID and the where I is going to be in caps.
Okay, sir. Yeah, it came.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So yeah, no worries. These small mistakes will be there, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. No worries. Any other questions you have?
one more, the static resources component you explained, chart.js. I did all the steps as you taught in class, but here the chart is not displaying. I have
Okay.
followed each and every step.
Yeah, can we see that? So we've got this okay. We've got this canvas LWC DOM equal to manual. Okay, class is my chart. Okay, can we see now the
JS.
JavaScript? Yeah. Okay, resource is loaded. You see the resource is loaded. Then you've got this .template.query selector CTX. Okay. So do we see any errors or something in the UI?
Mm.
Can you refresh
It is
this?
showing resource loaded, but here chart is not displaying.
Chart is not displaying. Yeah, I think the same was happening with someone else, right?
Here,
Who was? Yeah.
here it is showing resource loaded, but
Yes,
chart
actually,
is not displaying.
actually, this is because of my path, the path which we give while loading this style and other things. A jQuery path basically.
This is for chart.js, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we see? Okay, can we see the static resource? Sorry, yeah, static resource once. Here in the JavaScript, yeah, JavaScript code.
Yes.
We have got chart.js. You've got this comma chart.js. Okay, this is good because it's not something else. It's a simple path. Resource is loaded. Query selector is there. CTX new chart. I've got CTX, and this is the chart we want to. I think just do one thing. Share this code with me. Okay, I'll try, and then if not, then we can work. We can connect. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will share. And sir, can you explain that Google full calendar thing?
Yeah. I have that in my mind. I'll basically take it maybe in the last, because that really is going to take a lot time of yours, and we all are going to get confused there as well. So that's why I wanted to take it for the last. So don't worry, we'll cover it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't
Yes,
worry
sir.
on that front.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think now we're good. So let's meet tomorrow.